Hello, what's going on, peeps? We're here to talk about Konnakol, my brand new album. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to put them in the comments, and we'll try and answer as many as possible for you. Hello, what's happening? What's going on? First, I'm going to say, does anybody have any questions regarding the album? Come on, I'm sure you do. Asia tour. Asia tour. I haven't really got it in the diary yet, but it's definitely in the mind. Been thinking about it. I'm very excited to come back out to Asia. Not performed there since I was in the band, so that'll be really cool. If we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 songs on the immediate album. And then there will be hopefully a deluxe, at some point with some extra songs on there too. What's happening? Someone call me an old fart. I don't know if I qualify as an old fart yet, but I appreciate the joke. So yeah, this is the album uh, that you can purchase. If you're watching on TalkShopLive, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop for links to order. If you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. Konnakol. Anyone got any questions about this? From Vietnam. Love you too. Hola. Love you too. Please come to Germany. I think there's definitely plans to come to Europe, so Germany will be in there, I'm guessing. So yeah, any questions you've got about the record, just feel free to ask me and I'll try to answer them. Ordered for my daughter. Nice. It's a good parent right there. Take note, people. It's a good gift. What song are you most excited for? On the record, I am most excited about you guys probably hearing Met Tonight. It's a bit different. It's got a bit more of like a dancehall type of vibe to it. So I'm excited to see what the fans think of that one. In terms of like performance, performing them live, I really enjoyed doing Used to the Blues in Vegas. That was really fun. Um, it felt like a different thing, like it wasn't really my usual type of music. It was a bit different, and I enjoyed that. It was fun. At one point, the Calamity song played from Nobody's Listening too, and that felt pretty sick too. Not gonna lie, felt good on stage. Yeah. Can I release it sooner? Unfortunately, that's not how things work. There is an actual date in place. I think we have to adhere to the schedule. But if I could release it sooner, I would have released it the day I was finished with it. It don't really work like that. Second date on the same day. Oh, hello. How's it going? What inspired you to write this album? You, the fans. I was kind of writing it, the record, I had the backbone of it, but it was called Fuchsia Sea. And I was writing it whilst I was writing Room Under the Stairs. So I was doing them both at the same time. And then when I did the tour, the Stairway to the Sky tour, I was on stage. I seen what you guys were responding to in terms of what music was making you move and what we got the best reaction from, and that just inspired me to want to go back then to the drawing board when I got home, and inject a bit more of what I seen that you guys were enjoying, and then try to inject a bit more Indian influence in there. Um, and that's why it's called Konnakol. Yeah, so that's what inspired this record. Which track is my favorite? I think I already said that. "Used to the Blues" is definitely one of my favorite songs on there. Yeah, I really like it. It's cool. Hello, everybody. Just looking through for some more questions here on the side, just seeing if there's anything that you guys are asking. Which song from Konnakol are you most excited for us to hear? I think I answered that. I'm excited for you to hear Met Tonight. It's a bit different. I think the fans are gonna love it. I've got a few songs on here though that I'm excited for you to listen to. I'll be honest. There's Prayers is a great song, I think, and Blooming is a great song too. I have another song on there called Breathe, which is got a lot of I want to say like sweat vibes. You know, it's got that kind of feel to it. It's epic. Most of the songs are about sex, case you didn't know that. And yeah, they're just cool songs, you know, it's music that I would listen to myself for sure. This is the CD right here, just in case you guys forgot. Here it is. Me with a snow leopard face. If you're watching on TalkShop Live, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop for links to order. And then if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. There it is. Uh, what else are you guys asking me? What's one thing about this album that fans might not expect, but you're really excited for them to discover? Uh, it's hard, you know, for me to answer that question because I don't really know what people expect individually. In terms of my previous projects and you know how it's different is there's a lot more Indian influence in there and Pakistani influence and South Asian vibes going on. And we've lent into that in a big way on this record because it was the basis for the production. So I was singing sounds that sounded very, you know, like Qawwali kind of sounding stuff and Sufi sounding things that we were doing. We used for the main basis of the production, and it worked for us. It gave us this world. I could see the world, but we couldn't quite create it because there was no reference point. It didn't exist, so we did it from scratch. And I'm excited for the fans to hear that and you know listen to it and figure out how that worked. Here's an interesting question. Not my words, somebody else's. What kind of crack did you put into Fatal? Because ever since Vegas, I've been obsessed. I can confirm there was no crack involved in the making of that song. It's just a good song. It's vibey. It's a dance tune. You know, it's a type of song that gets you off your feet if you are at a concert, and you know you can let your hair down for a minute and proper, you know, twerk out and do your thing. A lot of my music usually is a bit, you know, emotional, contemplative, stoic, shall we say, delicate. So that's not like that. And I think that's what you know I was honing in on with the fact that I wanted to make this record for the fans, rather than just you know what I might necessarily want to put out. It was for you guys and for the type of music that I would listen to in that space, you know. Recording, how did the recording process work? Somebody asked. And the recording process was pretty similar to Room Under the Stairs and some of the music that I've done of recent years. Basically, was in the studio in PA the whole time, working there, right next to my home, recording. It makes a for a way better like environment for me when I'm recording. It feels safe there. I feel like I know it, and I feel comfortable expressing myself and making music there. What was your main goal for this album? Was there a specific message or sound you wanted to capture? Yeah. The goal was, to make songs that my fan base wanted to hear, and make cool music. I'm just trying to get better with everything I'm doing. I never want to give anything that I don't feel like I've given 110% on. So yeah, just took it serious and tried to show, there's progression there and there's a growth with that. Hello, what's happening? Yeah. Any more questions about the album? Whatever you want to ask, yeah, feel free. They can be a bit cheeky too. They don't have to be all real serious. It is the album. Just while I'm scrolling through looking for a question. This is it here. Konnakol. See that? If you're watching on TalkShop Live, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop for the links to order. And if you are watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. Here it is. Da da da. I feel like I'm working for QVC. What does being understood? Oh, that one went. What does being understood mean to you today compared to when you first started making music? I think that question was. Question went. Uh, Being understood. What does it mean now as opposed to then? Well, to be honest, um, I was so young in the band that I don't think I really knew what it was that I wanted people to understand yet myself. I hadn't figured that out. At this point, there's a lot more conviction, growth. I want to share certain things about my personality, my interests, my musical interests, and I have a lot more identity now. I would say, I've lived a little bit longer, so there's definitely a change there. But yeah, I just don't even think I knew what I wanted people to understand when it first started. Anyway. Are you excited to perform in Birmingham? Yes, random shout. Very excited for Birmingham for sure. What does the leopard mean to you? The snow leopard is an animal that is native of South Asia, Pakistan, them kind of places. So it just made sense to me that we use something that is symbolic in that sense on the cover. It's a very striking looking animal. So I wanted to use it, and it made sense. Obviously, with the record being called Konnakol, it just summed it all up for me when we got that artwork done, and the idea was executed. Felt like it made a lot of sense. Who inspired you to do music? Uh, Who inspired me to do music? I don't know if anyone in particular like inspired me specifically, one person. Grew up in a time where there was a lot of great music, a lot of great artists, and all the people I was listening to pretty much inspired me to want to make music. Uh, Also the fact that like I started taking like theater studies quite seriously when I was about 11, 12, and there was a singing element in that, and people would tell me that I had a good voice, and it made me feel good. So I was like, okay, cool, this is something I'm good at here. And then I really started taking singing properly serious. I want to say probably around like 15, 16, just a couple of years before I auditioned for the show. So yeah, not a specific person, just a amalgamation of events. Do you have a set list for tour yet? Is Used to the Blues still on it? Do have a tour set list. I've had it there for a minute. It's rejigged a little bit since Vegas because obviously there's other songs on the album that I want to put on there. Used to the Blues is still on there. It's going to be a heavy Konnakol tour. That's why I'm going on tour. So you guys can listen to this music firsthand and feel like you're a part of it with me. So yeah, And here it is. On that note, here's the album. Back to QVC ZAYN. Hey. If you're watching on TalkShop Live, click the shop button. If you're watching on Facebook, comment the word shop for links to order. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the link in the description. I'm just scrolling through, just so you know, when I'm looking over to the left, I'm just scrolling through trying to find questions from you guys. So what was the hardest part about making this record? I actually did a few interviews today for Spotify and stuff, and that was a question that came up there, and this was the answer there, and it's the same answer for you. It wasn't really difficult, I'll be honest with you. I was working on the record the entire time I was doing Room anyway. And I had the idea and the premise there, you know. And then with the, you know, newfound like inspiration after being on stage, it just felt like it came out real easy. I hadn't worked with Malay in over 10 years at that point either. So it was good to reconnect with him. I feel like it was a combination of that and the stage, you know. We hadn't seen each other in a long time, and things just seemed to come together quite easy.